What's up, my beautiful black geniuses? Happy Sunday. You are watching the Black Wealth Project's Town Hall meeting. Every week, we do a town hall meeting talking about black wealth issues at 7 p.m. ish. We try to do it 7 p.m. sharp, but again, we are here every week. This week's topic: why are black people in love or addicted to their labor? Again, why are black people addicted to their labor? So, again, I'm Kamari Ellis, the Finance Rebel, here every week with you guys. And of course, we have the Black Wealth Project team here as well. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
What's up, brother?
Year. Gang.
Thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah, he wanted to make an entrance, like is that what that is?
Yeah, I wanted to let everybody know who the start of the show was. That's it.
So, all right, what's up, people? Did anybody work out this week? Eat good? Make some major announcements. By the way, folks, we do have a major announcement. Stick to the end of the show. We got a major announcement for everybody to check out and see. So make sure you stay around to the end of the show. But anybody do anything major this week?
I'm back.
Workout major?
You got Courtney back on keto, huh?
I'm back on keto. I've been off keto for about 2 months. Life, I was sick, so I got kind of off track. I'm back on the Peloton. I was getting my weekly streaks, but I was getting them by meditation and not by working out. But now I'm getting by actually laying my butt in the saddle, literally and figuratively. So I had my little smoothie today. Which I get from Canada. Don't ask. It's that wasn't even a flex, y'all. That wasn't a flex. They just get shipped.
Did you say from Canada?
Yes.
That sound mad wealthy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I get my smoothie sent in from Canada.
That expensive.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't a flex. I promise.
Well, you can't help it, Courtney. You flex all the time, and you
Put
just
your
so
muscle up,
well.
Courtney. Go ahead. Put your muscle up.
Stunt 101.
How about that?
Oh,
But before we get into any further into the show, I just want to shout out to everybody. As you're joining in, everybody, make sure you put in, your town and state where you're checking in from. And I see we got a couple people in the house already. Adrian's there. Hey, Adrian.
Hey, Adrian, how you doing?
Adrian, we've been hanging out all weekend.
Hey, Adrian, how are you?
Hey, Adrian.
What's up, Don?
Yeah, with us too on Friday. With us too.
Yeah.
Salute to Adrian.
Yeah. Shout out to Adrian and Don. Don was hanging out with me yesterday too. So Don don't miss a show. Adrian don't miss too many shows either. I don't know who has a higher standing. We might have to create a contest for the #1 Black Wealth Project fan. So we'll see how that comes along. But as we're moving along, every week we do our Black-owned business of the week. And this week's Black-owned business is on Corey. So who you got for us today, Corey?
This week I got Extreme Pure Impact. My guy's a personal trainer. He's been doing personal training for at least 4 years now. If you go to his IG page, Pure Impact, he's on there every day. His 2 models are, movement is medicine. And if the body don't move, the body gets weak. So, he out there every day. He's done personal training with everybody around me. I'm fat, so I haven't used his services specifically, but he has definitely. I've been out there with him once or twice, but I was like, man, he actually lived this. He bought that life. You know what I mean? So I'm not really about that workout life heavy like that, but the people around me getting skinny using his services. So I definitely wanted to put him on Front Street, and we've been friends for years. And so his name is Ish. If you go to his IG page, it's Pure Impact. And you can just look at Pure, PURE_Impact, IMPACT. And he got gear and all of that kind of stuff. But he's reworking his website. He had a website up because I got some of the shirts, but he took the website down and he's redoing it because he's rebranding and rebuilding his business and taking it from Pure Impact to Extreme Pure Impact.
Okay. This is him right here, right?
Sound is about to get more difficult.
Yeah, man. He does high impact interval training or whatever, the HIIT.
The hit
And my
training.
man he gets busy. As you can see on his page, he don't do nothing. I mean, he got income. He got a regular 9 to 5, but he get loose. He get busy. That's one of his clients right there. Yeah, that's part of the training that he do.
Okay. All right. This is what's up.
So yeah, we always talk about how health is wealth, and so my man, he the healthiest dude I know. So,
all right, salutes to him.
I want to send a shout out to Stick from Dead Prayers, who got the RBG Fit Club, because those two things, that's their motto: health is wealth and movement medicine. That's where that comes from.
And listen,
can I tell you how big of a Dead Prez fan I am? I mean, like, I love Dead Prez, and I follow that whole RBG.
I mean, well, you should have known that then. You should have known that then, right? You know what I'm saying? You should have had a workout volume 1 and volume 2, and you should have known that then. I mean, if you
I don't have volume 2, but volume one is a phenomenal album, man. It's like when I used to work out heavy with volume.
Is it?
Yeah, my heart rate did boom, 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 boom. The volume one, that runners.
Yo, I used to have, you put the intro on.
The volume one is pretty good.
Yeah, all that. Okay. Coach Carter down. Okay, I could tell. But that volume 1 is amazing, yo. The intro make you feel like Rocky. But go ahead though.
Yeah, it do. You a champion. I'm a champion. Yeah.
But that's that. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, man, shout out to Dead Prez, because it's definitely bigger than hip hop. They've always represented.
But let's be on the health side real quick, Kamari. You kind of skipped over me earlier talking about anything big this week for the health.
You didn't speak up. My bad.
Yeah. So what I did, I couldn't pay the $5. I didn't have the Peloton bread. So I did grab a little Teddy Tread, but it wasn't a Peloton. That $5 was just not in my. I can't get my mind around paying the $5 for that. So I got something else, and if you use it, it works no matter what it is. So I couldn't join the Peloton club.
Oh man, no, bro.
I couldn't.
Come on, man. Half stepping, man.
Listen,
it's a lifestyle.
It was 5 rags, bro. I can't pay for that 5 rags.
Peloton is not a machine; it's a lifestyle. I just got to put that out there first, though.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But I didn't
pledge. I'm a GDI, so I don't want to.
Well, listen. Shout out to Malik for being personally responsible with his finances, knowing that he shouldn't get that 5 rack joint. Ironically, this is the Black Belt Project, and I never hear the Peloton gang talk about personal responsibility as it relates to finances and wealth. When it comes to the Peloton, y'all just like go all out, jump in.
Whoa, you don't go there.
It's not the same.
First of all,
it's not the same thing.
Health is wealth, dog. If I can invest in a building, or I can invest in these stocks, I can invest in my health for one, and for two, it's just different, dog. It's levels, man. It's like it's premium. It's like
you can't compare. I'm level 1.
You're not ready to face the final boss yet.
So, but seriously, I've had my Peloton for 5 years.
What's that?
I've had my Peloton for 5 years. So, I mean, again, and I've used my Peloton, and a lot of people, now granted, for 4.5 years, it was probably like a really expensive coat rack. We're not going there, but I share that to say, it's a good machine that actually lasts. And then once you get into the community, it has a community with it, and that does make a difference. And it's not prudent for us to go out in these streets and be in a gym, given the situation with COVID. So yeah, I get like, being fiscally responsible. Like, I mean, I'm still fiscally responsible. I mean, my joint's been paid off. So
listen, the audience, I got a favor to ask y'all. Can y'all please share this show on Twitter and at Peloton and tell them they owe us a couple dollars for advertisement, because we advertise every show and we ain't getting nothing.
I also want to shout out Chelsea Jackson Roberts. I know I did that before, but she changed my life with her meditation and her yoga on there. You can't get that with these these other things, man. So it's like I said, it's a lifestyle, man. Shout out to Justin. I can name them all because it's a lifestyle. They my people now.
Hey, well, it ain't my lifestyle. But I will say this, man. I didn't realize. I knew I got out of shape. I didn't realize how out of shape I was. I tried to do a burpee. I should do a burpee. Oh my god, burpee!
Yeah, but
Burpees is
you
a
going right
problem.
to the
Burpees
yeah,
is
they a
a
problem anyway.
in shape. Like people that's in
Dog,
shape.
you going right. You jump right on the ocean. You right in the
Yeah,
shower. with
yeah,
the-
like,
my man ain't do no stretching and getting limber. My man went right to
Yeah,
burpee.
you could have did a jumping jack or a
Right.
squat. You talking about jumping right to burpee?
You go
the
into
hell?
the infested water.
I didn't do a burpee. I attempted a burpee.
The effort matters. The effort
He
matters.
didn't even get there. Oh god, yo.
Yeah.
All right, well, listen, y'all. As we move on to our main topic, remember our main topic is: are Black people in love with their labor, or are Black people addicted to their labor? But I want to make a quick announcement, right? And don't forget, we have another big announcement coming on. But y'all see this? Y'all see
That's
this?
fire.
I've been inducted to the BTA.
That's
So,
that's
Corey-
so fire.
So me and Jimmy be going at it, and Corey always come through, and they be jumping me, y'all. They be swinging on me heavy. And so
Easy,
I
Come on, man. It's all love.
can't do that
It's
to me
all
no more,
love.
y'all.
Where's
I'm
my
a part of the gang
It's
gang.
all love.
where's my book? Where's my hat and my book?
Where's
No,
your bread?
We got you.
Where's your bread?
COVID.
Yeah, see,
No, it ain't about the bread. It's just, COVID. We got you though. We got you. It's Corey's fault, but we got
I take all the blame. I gotta take the blame. I take the blame because I'm not in the city. So we can. What I'll do, I'll autograph a book. I'm gonna send it to Jimmy, and then he can autograph it and send it to you.
I'm sending it.
you. I got you.
y'all see Courtney throwing up them hands. He trying
I
to throw
got
them
you.
bows.
Yeah,
so
like,
y'all better get her gear.
I'm taking all that.
You better get her gear. But all right, like I said, as we're moving, we're talking about are Black people addicted to labor, to their work? Do us a favor, chime in the chat. Let us know. Do you think Black people are addicted to their labor? And to kick this off, I'm going to throw it over to Courtney.
Mhm.
Courtney came up with this wonderful idea for this topic today, and I want to hear what she has to say.
I did. Oh, okay. I don't know if I did or not. Kamari, what are you asking me?
Okay, the premise, right? Black people being addicted to their labor. I think we all can attest to it. We've seen it when we came over to this land. We were property, we were capital before we actually were recognized as human beings. So it seems like we are really addicted to work. It seems like our identities are tied to working, right? We can't do nothing else if we ain't working. And a lot of times that leads to a lot of bad activities, a lot of bad habits, a lot of bad mindset because we feel we're not doing backbreaking work. We're not truly of value. So I know you feel a certain way about this topic. So I wanted to hear what you had to say about it.
Oh, okay, got you. Okay. I do feel a certain way about this topic. But I think you covered it. I really think you covered it. Unfortunately, I've noticed that there's a conversation that's being had that I've seen since I've been a child in terms of how hard we work. And it's always like, yeah, I work so hard. And it's like, okay, well, you work so hard, but you can only you only have 24 hours in a day. That's all we have. And you need some of that time to sleep. And I really also hate as an offshoot of that, I hate the team no sleep. Like sleep, you need to sleep so you can rest. You can go hard when you rest. So it's a rest, work, rest. And I think a lot of people don't realize that you're fatiguing yourself when you're not getting your proper rest and you're not getting the proper exercise, as we talked about earlier. You're not taking care of your body. So basically even when you don't take care of your car, what happens when you don't take care of your car? You drive it, you don't get oil changes, you don't do what you're supposed to do. What happens? It breaks down. Same thing with the body. But my concern is that a lot of times like I've talked about this a lot with the tax code, is that the tax code disincentivizes work or earned income. They will give you a better rate in terms of investing. If you invest and you hold it for longer than a year, then when you actually do cash out on your investment, you're only going to get taxed at a significantly lower rate. Like at the most you'll be taxed, most people get taxed about 15%, but the most you'll be taxed is 20%, as opposed to the highest marginal tax rate. Well, I think it's like 39% or 38%. So again, you're like, dang, you're really putting yourself in a disadvantage if all you think you can do and all you think you have to offer is work and your labor. And at the end of the day, is that you have a very finite time of working as hard as you can before you kill over. There's so many people that I've talked to when we walk through the states, is that they were saying, yeah, so and so was on the job and they died. And that's heartbreaking to me. And unfortunately, it really looks at us. And again, a lot of people aren't interested in investing because they're like, oh, it's not hard work. Should it be this easy? Absolutely. It should be easy. But the problem is we equate getting money with working hard. And I think that's just the wrong paradigm to have.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about this, Malik?
So along those lines, man, you know what? A good friend of mine actually changed my perspective on that. You know, he living here in Philly and moved to Atlanta, bought a little fixer-upper down there that he moved his family into, you know, with no job. And he said the problem with America is they tell us there's dreams that there's nobility in hard work. And he said there's not. There's nobility in freedom, right? When you can control like your time and your activities and you don't have to work hard, like that's the true American dream. It's not working hard till you die. You know, and I know a lot of people, my mom retired from her job 30-something years, but tons of people, a few people at her job, they retired, died a week later, a year later, 2 years later. Like they asked all their life just to die, you know. And I think we really have to change that entire narrative that, yo, just work until whatever. But like I said, it's a learned behavior, right? Our parents were taught that, their grandparents were taught that, working in the field and working here. And so it's 100% a learned behavior. And to the point where when I quit my job, my mom was terrified. I told her, like, yeah, I'm quitting that job. She was like, damn, you finally got a city job and you quitting that? I'm like, yeah, I'm out of there. You know, but yeah, that whole concept to me, just, I don't understand it. And my last thing I'm gonna say, my mom retired. That really scared me because she was on her job for like 30-something years. And it scared me. I'm like, wait a minute, I'll have to work 30 more years. I'm like, and I just was not like that whole concept. Like, I mean, I was like an absolute frightened of the idea of having to work at a place for 30 years. I couldn't believe that she even did it. Like, how could she even do that? I couldn't even do it on purpose anyway. But that's me. That's what I got to say on that.
Got you. Corey, what you got on this?
I got a lot of things on this. I got a book full of bars on this. But what the thing that I will say is that COVID showed me how people think about work in a way that I never thought of before, because people was really shitting on people for getting an extra $600 a week and not having to work for that $600, right? And they was extra mad at people for getting that money, and because it was more money than they made working. And I was like, damn, yo, like, people really that petty? Like, people really think like this? And the thing was, it was a gang of people. It was people that I didn't realize that really had, like, they really look at, you know, leisurely activity as like laziness. And I'm like, damn, because people can now are not forced to work and they can do the actual things they want to do without having to slave away at a job for 8 hours a day, y'all actually mad at them people. And I was like, y'all made lifestyle choices to where y'all didn't get that extra $600. You chose a job or you chose a field, and now you mad at people who didn't go that route and got that extra $600. And I'm like, damn, that's ugly. That's ugly as a, you know, that's just ugly. Like, I was gonna call some names about how ugly that was. That's ugly as Donald Trump toupee. But it's, you know, it's like, damn, like, y'all really mad at people for not having to bust their ass and grind. And, you know, and that really set me back a little bit. I was like, damn, there's really some haters out here about this work thing. Or when, you know, if I see a lot of posts about family dynamics that say if the man ain't grinding, then he ain't worth shit and all, like, yo, or on the other side, with dudes be talking about housewives, they don't do nothing. I'm like, yo, what the hell? Like, y'all too worried about the wrong things, man. Like, get to a point where you know, with me and Jim talk about lifestyle design. Design your life the way you want it to be. and then go get it. You know what I mean? Like, stop worrying about whether people working and not working and all this other stuff, and design your life the way you want it to be, and stop, stop bitching. Like, stop.
Gotcha. Jimmy, what you got on this?
Man, as Corey said, I have bars for days on this. We talk about this often. Our next book that's coming out within the next couple months is actually called Hard Workers for Suckers, because we fight against this mentality. And I want to mention a couple books as I talk about this topic. Black Labor, White Wealth by Dr. Claude Anderson is an excellent book in which he talks about this. Another book I want to mention is The Cash Flow Quadrant. Talk about someone being self-employed, right? and working their tail off and thinking that they're a business owner, and that's just not the case. And last but not least, I want to talk about this book right here called Own Your Time and Space, which is available at ownyourtimeandspace.com, which is the first book written by Corey and I. And the premise of this book is similar to this topic. We talk about how, true wealth is not a dollar. It's not a dollar amount. It's owning your time and owning the space around you, which allows you to have a certain level of freedom. We have fallen in love with our labor, that is, and it's been drilled in us our entire life. You have to work hard. How many of us have been told you have to go out there and outwork the, and listen, the whole Mamba mentality, team no sleep, all these crazy things. And as Courtney said, the tax code tells you exactly where to spend your time, exactly what to do. How you work is about working smart, setting up systems. Systems is where it's at. Another book, Timothy Ferriss's book, The 4-Hour Work Week. If you haven't read that, read that book. He talks about setting up systems, and he's living a life of freedom, and it's not based upon having a specific dollar amount, right? So the system is set up for you to operate one way, and as a people, we're not operating that way at all. We're operating so we're creating wealth, but we're not creating wealth for ourselves. We're creating wealth for others because we're working within the system and not creating our own systems. So this is a lot of talk about when you bring this topic up, the first thing I think of is systems. We need to work on systems, because when you start taking control of your time and your space and you create systems, is how you create real change and create real wealth for the community. But we have to get out of this thing like you're just going to outwork anyone. Like this, it's not going to happen. I don't care how hard you work. People say, I'm going to outwork the next man. Go ahead, outwork them. Slaves work harder than anybody else. Like, you work as hard as you want to. That's not how it works, right? And if we were in a different system, then we can have that discussion. But the current system in this country and how things work and how everything is structured, we need to get out of this mentality and start thinking about creating systems, and also just take a step back and understand what true wealth is, which is time.
Gotcha.
Right. Hey, Kumar, I apologize. It's important before you move on to Tracy. Jimmy, don't disrespect my mentality like that. My mentality, keep my mentality out your mouth. Listen, we can go to Tracy now.
No Kobe slander. It's not about Kobe slander. It's about it's about what people do with that. It's sort of similar to what Courtney said with the team no sleep. Like they think that if I just work hard and I say I'm using Mamba mentality and I'm not getting any sleep and I'm just going to do this, that that doesn't impress me. Like,
yeah, but a lot of people
who are you trying to impress?
A lot of people don't realize just how much Kobe studied. Right. So it wasn't just labor.
Exactly. It's not just outwork. It's smart work. It's smart work. And that's the point I'm talking about. It's the difference between just working hard. Listen, any of you could put in the same amount of hours that he did, but you're not going to be the same player he was, because it's not just about hard work. A lot of NBA players work hard. A lot of them ain't Kobe Bryant. It's a difference.
That's right. All right, Tracy, coming to you. I apologize for my Neanderthal brother stepping.
It's fine. I feel like most of the points have already been hit that I was going to say. Basically, at the end of the day, we have to unlearn trading time for money, because that's typically what labor is feeling like you have to do so much more work to be able to gain so much more in output. And that's absolutely not true. And we need to unlearn it. One story that I'll tell is, growing up, my father had been an entrepreneur for quite some time before, him and I kind of went into business together. But one of the things I remember, probably middle school into high school, is it would rain and my dad would be like, today's a holiday. And I'm like, what? He's like, no, I declare today is a holiday because it's raining. I'm like, what do you mean hard. It's a holiday? He's like, I'm not going to work. I am my own boss. Today's a holiday. It's raining. And
That's gangster.
that concept stuck with me for so long. As you're working through your first job, going into internships, and even just working in your first job, you realize and you're like, wow, I'm dictated by my procedures, my HR, all these things that tell me if I don't go to work, I'm not going to get paid. And my father's at home right now because it's raining. Like, those kind of things are powerful. They're absolutely powerful when you can teach your kids or build a life for your family to say, you know what, today is too much, or the elements don't allow me to be able to work. Because that's the other thing too about Black folks being addicted to labor. A lot of us don't realize, and I keep bringing this up about mental health, there are so many other dynamics that need to be attended to, that labor is something that really creates a big gap in us tending to our personal lives and the things that we need to do to keep ourselves together, that we just work to try to overcompensate for it. Oh, I have all these problems, but if I make enough money, they'll go away. No, you need to actually really slow down. You need to actually really sit and breathe and sleep and meditate if you can. Hello, Peloton. And all kinds of things to just make sure that you are creating a space to be successful in all realms.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to piggyback on that a little bit, though, especially what Tracy said about mental health and mental stability. The only person I could think of that kind of talks about this a little bit and what they do is Richard Branson. And his daily activities are he swims 4 hours a day, right? And he says he comes up with so many ideas.
You said 4?
Yes. Yeah. He swims 4 hours a day.
That's hard.
And so he's really not into this quote unquote work hard, right? Obviously, we're on that Richard Branson. Obviously, Richard Branson has his processes and systems and personnel in place, right? So you can't just jump out the window and do it right away. However, you can start taking some of those ideas and using that. And so his focus isn't just about work, labor. It's also about time to think, right? And so going into Tracy's part, how many of us, if we had more time to think, if we took more time to think, if we claimed our time to think, would come up with way better ideas to either work, way better ideas to start a job, way better ideas to be creative. I mean, there's so many things out there. Go ahead, Corey, what you got?
No, I was just saying, like, you know, when you on the everyday hustle, that's part of how the system treats us, right? Because that the reason why the system is set up with it the way it is because they don't want people to have time to think, because thinking people rebel, right? And so thinking people are rebellious people. Because when people start to think too much, they like, yo, that shit don't make sense. And then they start to do stuff about it, right? And so that's why they keep you grinding and working 8 hours a day, and then you got to travel an hour between, your job, and then you still got to find time to eat, take care of your family, do homework, and still try to get some sleep and all of that kind of stuff. And that clouds your judgment, and it allows, the government and other agencies to take, bad actors to take advantage of the average person. And so, it's not just about labor, it's about what the labor does to you. And that's why, COVID, like I said, COVID changed the whole dynamic. You see what I'm saying? And that's why the government don't want to give out that.
I just want to say,
go ahead.
I
just want to say real fast. What's interesting is I thought about this. Go ahead, Kamar.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I was just going to say that when Tracy was talking about something, that how many people I know who place give them time off, and they're so like quote unquote mama mentality team, no sleep, that whole thing, that they don't even use it. Like, they literally don't use it. And it's like your place of business or organization is telling you take these days. It's like, I'm working. Like, because again, we feel like you get some sort of reward or something for not using your time. Like, it's just insane. It's insane how much we are addicted to our labor. But again, it's one thing to understand there's value in labor, right? You need like land, labor, capital, and entrepreneurship to create anything, right? So there's value in labor. But if you don't create the systems to use that labor to create wealth for your people, all you're going to do is be stuck in a perpetual thing. I was thinking about today, right, watching the football game, and I was looking at the couch, and I'm looking at Jerry Jones walk around and pat people on their helmet. I'm like, he's about to go sit up there and chill and have all sorts of like, amazing foods, and they're about to sit down there and like bust their behind. And they're the labor, he's the wealth, right? Another book real quick, $40 Million Slaves, which breaks all this down. William Roden. So another great book. But the idea of I'm just going to outwork people, we have to get out of it. We have to start to talk about ownership systems and things of that nature, because there's nothing wrong with labor, but you need to use that labor in a way that's going to create wealth and not create wealth for others, but create wealth for our community.
It's not about doing labor. It's about changing it's about changing where the labor goes, right? Because in our book, and On Your Time and Space, I always say, information is the currency of the affluent, right? Because when you have information and then you put that information to work, that's where you create big sums of money. That's where you create big sums of resources. That's where you create big organizations, right? That's what the UNIA was. That's what the NOI does. They take big ideas and then they put people in time together, and those ideas become bigger and bigger and bigger. All of our Black organizations that have systems, they succeed over, whatever amount of time they succeed over. But when you put, we Black people, in my estimation, build great leaders and not great systems.
I would agree with that. But here, I want to throw something out to the audience. We definitely want to come back out there. That is a bar. Corey just said Black people create great Black leaders, but not great systems. So put that in the comment, y'all. But I got a question for everybody. Has anybody ever seen a movie called Out of Time with Justin Timberlake?
Yeah. It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
Yeah.
And so for the audience, again, I want to know, has anybody seen that movie? If not, please watch it, right? Because it thoroughly illustrates in kind of an abstract kind of way, but the value of time, the value of money, the value of labor, and what tends to happen when all those things kind of fall apart. But
is that the joint where they was wearing they had the watches with the bar? Yeah. I saw it.
It's not even a watch, right? It's actually it's underneath the skin. And so they get about 24 hours every day to kind of live. Once the clock runs out, they die. So they're always kind of hustling and bustling to do things to get more time on the clock. But the more affluent, right? And let me back up. And so those people that are hustling and bustling, they're walking fast, moving fast, they're always in a rush, hustling and bustling. The people that are in the upper stratosphere, the upper echelon of society, they move slow. They drive slow because they have time on their hands. They have time on their hands to think. They have time on their hands to do business, and they're more strategic about things. But I did want to say this, Jimmy, because you just said, it's not always about outworking people. I'm going to say this. I think there is a time and place for everything. And I think sometimes there is a time to outwork people, because that will help differentiate yourself against other people in the marketplace who are lazy and won't do anything. And especially when you need to make your stuff stick out. So I think we got to take it all. It's nuance, right? Black and white. You got to look at it in the proper context and what you're trying to do. What you got, Jimmy? I heard you.
No, I'm just saying the whole idea of outworking people. I remember like being in class and people would do like terrible paper, and their excuse to the teacher would be, how hard I worked on that, and I'd be sitting over there like, I started last night. Like, I better crazy.
Yeah,
right. To me,
I had better information. Like, and so I worked smarter and not harder.
The whole idea of working hard to me is like funny. Like,
both of y'all low-key geniuses, so y'all got an advantage over everybody. God bless y'all.
I mean, we do got a central education, but I ain't gonna put that out there. Oh. But I appreciate you for saying that, though.
Oh,
hey man.
Right, let's
Girls High, the Philadelphia High School for Girls. Thank you.
I mean, listen. We got some amazing schools at this round table. We got ENS, Central, Girls High. Kamar, where you from, bro?
Franklin Learning Center.
FLC in the 90s.
FLC.
Let me stop.
Hey, so let me jump in.
No, they were good school too, though. So I mean, we got some of the best schools in the city, like at this round table,
Definitely.
Go ahead, Malik, and then we're gonna check in with the people.
All right. So what I was saying is that even like when I had a job, I would take off either a Tuesday or a Thursday, like to go fishing. I would put in a sick day because that was my mental health. It's sickness. People are like, man, but you're not sneezing. Like, you don't have to be, you don't have to, I was sick. So I would go out to my little spot, Fortescue, New Jersey. If anybody know where it is, little raggedy beach, an hour some change away. I'll catch my rod in the water, catch something or not. I was only going to the beach, listening to the waves. On it, like if the Tuesday or Thursday is my sick day, that's what I would do on those days. That was I did.
You were sick of the job. I'm not physically sick. I'm sick of this damn job. So I'm going somewhere besides this job.
Call out sick. Go fishing. That was my thing. I did. But I will say this as far as working hard. Now this year, because of COVID, has really opened my mind to how stuck in the rut I was, or what I was doing, that it really was all labor. I do have like some passive income in the rentals, but should the tenants not pay, that like kind of really put my whole situation at risk. And so I had to figure out the only reason I really got into stocks this year is because one, I had the time to think about it, and two, I had to figure out a way to make money from my phone. Like those that's the reason why I even decided to learn about stocks this year. If it wasn't for COVID, I never would have learned what I learned. And that really put me in a whole other stratosphere of what I'm doing, right? So COVID really set me down, gave me the time to think with myself on a different wave. I'm still putting together classes, that I'm going to put out. And I never would have put out had it not been for COVID. Now, my income for the year so far, mind you, I've only worked maybe like 130 hours, 140 hours, like since March total. I haven't really worked in that time period. And if I don't make any money, then this will be my worst financial year I had in a very long time. But with the seeds that I planted back then, if I get these next couple of houses out of here, this will be my best financial year ever. And I haven't worked half of it, but it's just like, planting these seeds and letting them grow, and not really, I've worked less this year than I have talking about like pre-undergrad. And I'm going to make more money than I have ever, but it's just that, well, I should, as long as interest rates are sub 3 and still buyers out here, I'll be straight. All
right, so we want to check in.
Come on, he made a great point about planting seeds. And I just want to say real quick, he made a great point about planting seeds. I see Corey got the t-shirt on that says buy future income, right? So planting seeds is that. But the crazy thing about that is, right, we talk about generational wealth. You can like imagine if someone planted seeds for you, and that's why we got to start having this conversation past your lifespan, because we can plant seeds that'll continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. And that's kind of the conversation we should be talking about. And also, another thing I want to say real fast before you go to the comments is, we talk about this whole idea of falling in love with the labor, and it's not just for the folks that have 9-to-5 jobs. I see a lot of people who are entrepreneurs who fall in love with the labor. They're so their own business, but they still, sometimes they're worse. One of the reasons I like to travel to the Caribbean a lot is because you meet people who don't even have anything. They have half or a quarter of what you have, and they're just happy, and they're living off the land, right? And you start to realize, like, these people that are so addicted to the labor, how happy are they, right? I don't care what your income is or how many things you have, how happy are you? So we need to take a step back and think about what exactly it is that makes you happy, which is why I don't believe in job shaming. I'm not going to say to tell people, leave that job, you got to be an entrepreneur. You have to do whatever it is that makes you happy, right? Some people are happy. They can make $30,000 and be as happy as, so it all depends upon the person, but I think each individual need to figure out what makes them happy and then go after that and then control their time.
But I think it's important to say that are people taught to value happiness over money, especially in our community?
No, nobody's taught about happiness.
Nobody
taught happiness.
Discussed.
Nobody ever mentions, like, what are you going to make you happy when you grow up? What are you going to be when you grow up? How much money are you going to make? Nobody ever talks about happiness
at all.
Ever.
So hold that thought, y'all. Hold that thought. Listen, everybody, you're watching the Black Wealth Project. Every week we do a town hall meeting. We are the preeminent place for Black wealth, Black finance, all things Black money. Come here every Sunday at 7 p.m. to check in with us. Just wanted to check in with the comments real quick because we got a lot of people in here, and y'all know how the comments just be jumping because the systems be lagged out. I'm actually hearing a bit of lag on this audio, so please be patient with us. But Monica's checking in. Hey, Monica, how you doing?
Hey,
What's up, Don? Don's always.
MC.
Hey, Don. Again, I don't know how you do it, bro. We broadcasting live, and you just retweeted the tweet of us on Twitter. So thank you. I appreciate you. You multitasking like
Here we go.
Marvin, how you doing, brother?
Hi, Marv.
You're
Angela, how are you? Welcome.
man in the house.
Gahan, how are you, sir?
Philly.
What's up, bro?
Adrian, how are you?
Trying to soak up all this knowledge.
All right, Nikki.
Be more in the house. Nice.
How are you?
Shout out to you.
B More is in the house.
Chicago. Okay.
Chicago's in the house.
Chi-town.
Hey, Tamika, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
All right. It says, I detest burpees. They straight from the pit of hell. I agree. Addicted to work. Ken Bronson says addicted to work versus what? Not working. And then I think Courtney clarified that in her open. Yeah. Thanks for clarification. Got it. So Monica says we've been hoodwinked by the idea that working really hard equals success. No, it doesn't. You are correct, Monica. Thank you for that. We don't put systems and processes in place that turns our work into wealth by duplicating our efforts in an absence. Therefore, we just keep working and working, mostly as solopreneurs with no help to build an empire. Yeah, I will say this though. You're 1,000% right. Some people though don't have a vision or a desire to build an empire also. So
I got when you're done, I got a point more. When you're done, I got a point I want to make, but when you're done.
All right, great explanation, Corey.
Thank you.
Courtney.
Me.
I don't have my glasses on, y'all. I gotta get some glasses.
Thank you.
Karan says my pops did 50 at the post office. He also had a bunch of paid off real estate. By the time I was born, he was only working there because he wanted to. I'm 34, by the way. Okay. Shout out to Pop putting that work in.
Yes, that's what you're supposed to.
Marvin says addicted to laboring for yourself or for your corporation. Well, we're talking about it from both angles, right? Because basically it's toxic on any level that you're looking at it from.
Yeah.
Let's see. Corey got a real talk accolade. Ken says The E-Myth by Michael Gerber is another great resource. Okay. It is. That's a great book where basically you got to wear
That's a good one.
You got to wear the technician hat, the manager hat, and the owner hat or the entrepreneur hat. And there's 3 different ways to think about it and approach it. So yeah, that's definitely a great book. Yeah, that's referring to Tracy's comment about holiday.
It is. It's a life changer.
Yeah, I think COVID has brought that to the very forefront.
I'll get rain again the same way.
Right. It's raining. I'm done.
So Kim Robinson says, I totally agree that we allow ourselves more time to think. Self-care will be able to be proactive instead of reactive. Yep, great part.
But I think also it's about dreaming. Like when you work hard like that, you don't even like we talk about thinking, you don't even get a chance to dream. Like you don't even think about what's possible because you're dealing with the day-to-day, the in and out, all that. It's like that daily.
Absolutely.
They keep you in the grind. They keep you in that blender.
It's a rat race. It's always constantly on the rat
on the wheel.
Circle. You don't get to think about what you need, what you got going on, because it's always about the circle.
So Monica said COVID gave a lot of people that time Kamari's talking about. Yep, absolutely.
They should be scared.
Perpetual labor kept us in survival mode. Yeah, that's a big problem. We're all in survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
Also true. There's a whole wave of people walking away from their jobs in their early 40s. Mm-hmm. I think there's people walking away from their jobs now in their 20s too. Like, having it.
That's why I like the FIRE movement. They like, look, get this money, get a number, and then get out.
Yeah.
And I think that's a move. That's a move.
If hard work was the key, then as a community, we would be balling. Yeah. Yep.
Nobody would be part of this.
Facts.
Yeah, everybody's loving that holiday mentality.
Yes, Willard. Absolutely.
It seems like all the real estate people are on our team Tracy though, y'all. I think Tracy.
I'm here for it. Gang.
All right, Don says work hard to own your time. Absolutely.
Sure.
Right. So Monica says the movie's underrated. Yeah. So yeah, again, y'all, everybody go watch that movie In Time with Justin Timberlake.
Yeah, it is.
just to see how this topic of your time being dominated by the system plays out, and it's so toxic and so hurtful.
It would have been a better movie. It would have been a better movie if he wasn't in it, because I mean he kind of ruined it with his acting. But that's another story. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, Justin, he's such a sweet boy.
So Adrian says, I'm 51 and the idea of working in corporate America until 65 or 70 is depressing and exhausting. I'm working on getting certificates to make more money, but I have no interest in the field. Even at this point in life, I'm looking at multiple streams, so I leave the 9 to 5 so that every day isn't Groundhog Day. Amen to you. Keep doing that. Let us know how we can be helpful.
Yeah, right.
All right.
At 45, I will be chilling in my RV, driving around, just seeing ish. I like that. I'm actually thinking about getting an RV myself. I drove cross country in 2017, and it was dope. It was dope. We tend to be more concerned with security over happiness. Yeah, Monica, but I mean, think about our history, right? Security was everything because we really never had security. We still don't have security. I mean, if you really want to keep it all the way functional.
Actually, I just had this conversation earlier in the car. I was talking about, I asked, and I think I asked this in the group. Didn't I ask this in the group? I said, what is your happiness number? Because I think Jimmy posted something a couple of weeks ago and said, it's a falsehood, or it's a lie that money and happiness are not equal. At some point, money and happiness are equal to a point. It's kind of like a curve. It's not a bell curve. It's like the slope. Mm-hmm. I took calculus.
Yeah, once you reach a certain number, your happiness and your money don't go up at the same time. It starts to level off.
Correct. But I think but I asked that question in the group for that reason, is because, again, some things that are very important to me are like just being comfortable. Like, okay, like just having a house, having a house over my head, having a car, like having all those things paid for and out of the way is very comfortable for me. That's that comfort, that contentment is part of my happiness. And it's not about having things, it's about having that security. So I think, to the point of the FIRE movement, it's kind of like, all right, what is that number? Like, what's everything taken care of? You're out of debt. You have this number that you're working on. Shout out to a couple of different FIRE people, more specifically Rich and Regular down in Atlanta. But they talk about this. What is that number? And then you aim for that number, and then you kind of get out the way. But again, I feel like so many of us don't even know what that number is. We can't even fathom it. We just can't even dream about it, that we're content with the day-to-day because we're afraid of what the possibility is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to Marvin. He remembered that we are the $1 billion team. We the B team. Right? We better than the A team. We the B team.
Salute.
All right. Nope. At least not in my family. You got a job and work until you retire. Now, somebody brought this up. I don't know if it was Malik or Corey, right? But the average stat, right? You work till you're 65, and usually the stat says you die within the first 5 years after your retirement. And so, again, it was Corey or Malik, but that really is scary, right? Because you're working your whole life. You're dedicating your whole life.
The average lifespan for a Black person in America is 69. The retirement age is 67.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
It was 65 and now it's 67.
And it's going to keep going up with the problems that Social Security is having. So I wouldn't doubt that it's 69 at some point. Real quick. I wish I knew about FIRE movement early. Well, you know what?
True.
But the FIRE movement to me is just, early retirement. We've been seeing that since the 70s and 80s. So it just got renamed. It's like house hacking.
Well, FIRE is different though.
Forever.
But different.
What's that, Jimmy?
No, but FIRE is different, right? So the community is different because FIRE is different because it's not just about retiring. Like most people in this one, FI is not really about the RE piece. It's about again, a lot of what they talk about is systems. It's about figuring out a system that works for your life. So now if you work that's enjoy you. So
right, but what I'm saying is
the minimum is because it's the first time that I actually sat back and thought about what makes me happy. In the past, I was one of these guys. I spent exorbitant amounts of money on vehicles, and reading things about minimalism and FIRE made me realize, I don't even really like this. I'm doing it because, in my head somehow, I'm supposed to drive this or drive that, and it's like this doesn't bring me any joy. So
yeah, but Jimmy,
in doing that now, I'm able to save so much more money.
You're married now, bro. You're married now.
But Jimmy, those same people that are doing
no,
FIRE
but that's
now,
no. That's not what I'm saying.
We on a delay.
Lag today.
Yeah, we on a crazy delay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bad lag. It's a bad lag.
All right, I'll move on.
But no, my point.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I just want to shout to chat. I saw she said 261, and just want to say 254. You know what I'm saying? She know what that means.
With that cult stuff, man. The daggone Central code. Don't y'all all the year y'all graduate, y'all just give a daggone secret passcode with 3 digits.
Yep, that tells you that exactly.
She know what that means.
Year they graduated.
Come on.
Oh, so okay. So
I have a number. Girls High has numbers too. I'm 243.
Okay, enough with the
Y'all a
numbers.
little bit late. That's all. Y'all. That just means y'all on tape delay.
So
Okay, salute.
hold on, y'all. So Monica says Christina Amon and Amon are my favorite fire couple.
And I think we need to pause for a second. So FIRE is financial independence, retire early. So I wanted to clear that up because I think we're talking about it like, oh, fire. And people are like, fire. Is there a fire? Is it smoke? Like, what's good? So I did want to clear that up for people. And it's actually interesting enough that there's actually not a lot of Black people in that movement either.
Correct.
Really? I see the majority. Well, maybe my YouTube is
Exactly.
Yeah,
Because
I don't
that's
see black
because the echo chamber is small.
Shit out.
Yeah, I'll go send you to the Black folks.
Yeah.
It's
Well, that's good. That's good. But yeah, I'm all for anybody knowing their destination. Usually that is a driving factor to get people on the road to, making change. Like Jimmy talked about a couple weeks ago about having his number, and he's fanatical about it because he actually has a goal and a target. Same thing with fire folks. They actually have a goal, so they're moving and driving towards that target. Do y'all have a number? Do the people in the audience have a number? Matter of fact, do y'all on the panel have a number?
I definitely have a number.
So
Because I believe retirement has always been a number and not an age.
Facts.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Right.
I got you. What were you saying, Malik?
I said my number shifts. I think as the more my ability to generate income, like that number kind of shifts. Even though my lifestyle is pretty simple, but I still want to spend. But a point I want to make earlier before we go back to Kamari is I put a post up and I got so much pushback. It was 2 different posts in particular. One, I was talking to realtors. This was like 2 years ago. And I said, realtors, like, I know that you say that you're an entrepreneur, but really what you are is a 1099 employee. And people got mad. I'm like, yo, they make on the check. They can change the lock to the doors whenever they feel like it. Yes, you do work. You can generate as much money as you want to, but for the most part, your client is not your client. Your client is the broker's client, right? And that's everybody. And so people got mad at me when I made that post. So realtors can feel how they feel about it, but for the most part, we are 1099 employees. You run your business how you want to, or don't. But still, there's that, right? And then another post that I put up, it was a meme about the clown. Like, if I work hard, do put on this makeup, clown makeup, and like if I work hard, then one day I can retire, whatever it was. And it's like the clown makeup, and people were laughing, but they were saying like, no, that's true. You go to work, you work hard, you bust your ass, you can promote it. And I'm like, okay, that's why you wear the clown makeup. It's like that's why.
Hey,
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I mean, I'm just saying, yeah. I understand why they get mad, because that's the way they were programmed. That's the way that's what their education has told them. You know what I mean? Their education has told them, their family has told them, the system tells you if you work hard, you get to retire and you get to move up in your company and you get to do all of these things. And it's false. It's just bullshit. Because what happens,
it's not good to want to be on fries for 6 months.
Nah, man.
Yes, I'm about to say. I'm about to say you get on fries.
You don't want to go from the mop to behind the counter. Yeah. Like, even though that's one of my favorite movies, that part of the movie, I was like, man, that's some crazy shit. I understood the comedy in it, but I was like, damn, that's crazy. My man was, you was on the floors one day, and then your whole thing was to get behind the counter so you could be behind the register. Like, damn, that's kind of crazy. Like, but to Malik's point, all that hard work shit gets you is dead, right?
The reason people got upset at your post, Malik, is because they know it's true. and that's why they got upset, right? So when we tell people the name of our next book, they get automatically upset. Like, what you mean? Like, that's just what it is, right? That's our belief. Hard work is for suckers, man. So, you know, you hit them where it hurts, because basically they felt like, yo, you should have just added them. You were talking about those specific people that got upset at your post.
But like, and people, I don't understand. So even when I had a job, right, the reason why I was able to quit my job is because I had $20,000 a year in rental income, right? I quit. I had nothing else coming. I got my exterminator license. It's like, if real estate don't work out, I'll be an exterminator, right? That was just it. And so, fortunately, I only had to take 3 jobs exterminating. That's it, right? So the right, but I mean, I'm sitting here to my coworkers at PHA, right? We had a mass layoff. They laid off a bunch of people, and this guy, one of my homies there, he got laid off, and he was struggling for a year and a half, like 2 years, trying to figure it out. And then when PHA brought him back, I was like, yo, bro, fortunately, they brought him back into the system. And I'm like, yo, see what I mean by buying houses? Like, you should still, if not real estate, find something to invest in to secure your future. And to this day, he still has not. Like, bro, you were out on the street for 2 years. You know how hard it was. Right. Why would you not want to now be aggressive to secure your future? Because at any given moment, these people can be like, nah, you know what? And we were employees. Yeah. Like the laborers were in the union. They didn't take no crap. We at will. The laborers make it more than us. And all they did was they clean the stairwell. A job that I wouldn't do. I take it, I'm not saying that. I don't like to clean up vomit and pee and doo-doo out of the blood. I don't want to clean that out of the stairwell. But the point is,
are programmed to be consumers. I mean, 70% of the U.S. economy is based on consumer spending. We're all programmed to be consumer. We get hit with over 5,000 ad impressions daily, attacking our wallets and our pocketbooks. So I get it. I mean, if a person doesn't want to overcome their programming, like I say, if the person doesn't want to overcome their plantation training, it's hard to really do anything. It's hard to even be able to think about buying a house or buying a something like that.
I'm not pooping on jobs.
Tracy was next up. Go ahead, Tracy.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I completely agree with that, and I also feel like your programming doesn't start coming into play until there's like a glitch in the matrix, if that makes sense. Like, there has to be something that twists what you said, that says, wait a minute, that completely disrupts everything that I've been taught. And it doesn't make sense from what I'm seeing out here, that doesn't compute to what I've been taught. So that glitch kind of has to happen for somebody to do that. One of the glitches that ended up happening for me, because my background is in engineering, I used to work for Merck in their manufacturing department. And I remember Y2K. We were literally in Y2K going into the new year from 1999. And literally, they had a full meeting of all of the engineering staff, of everybody who was responsible for the sterile operation filling, the capping and everything of all of the medicines and everything else. And they literally sat down with everyone and was like, so due to your responsibility level to this process in this lab, none of you can go home for Christmas or New Year's. Y'all literally have to sit here and watch these machines to make sure that every machine turns over from 1999 to the proper 2000, because we're not sure if the manufacturer made that a thing. Now, those of you who know me know my birthday is Christmas Eve.
I didn't know that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I'm not staying nowhere at nobody's machine sitting here watching nothing on my birthday that is a national holiday.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, that's it. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night. We not doing this no more, because I got a father sitting at home who take off for rain.
Yeah.
Rainy day.
Shout out to great role models.
Don't got to do that. So it's got to be something that triggers it, that makes sense to someone else from their programming for them to even bucket it at all.
We had a pandemic that set the whole world down for a month. Like, if that's not going to trigger that, what the hell is going to trigger it?
But see, here's the thing. Not everybody has.
I think it will for a lot of people, though.
It will for a lot of people, but not everybody's like Malik said. Malik made a very valid point. He said, my friend was out on his butt for 2 years and he was happy to go back. So that wasn't a trigger for him. That wasn't something, but everybody has different triggers. It's just like, did you hit it? Like, did you hit that trigger? And I had a very similar situation to Tracy a couple of weeks ago. I was sitting on, on a call and it was like 11:55. I don't work on my birthday. Don't work on my birthday. And I was like, it was 11:55, September 2nd. I was like, oh, this may not work. No. And I think, again, COVID, I'm a person, I don't have there's no death knell for me. Like you have to kind of chop. And if you know me personally, I am a chop person. I was the same thing on the renovation. I'm a chop person. So you have to keep chopping away. So I think we're all looking for this one thing that kind of just completely knocks out people out of the game. And it's not that. It's kind of like chopping. It's chopping away. It's like, okay, we're going to chop down this because these trees have roots. These thoughts have roots in our heads.
Great point.
That's been kind of going along. So I can't imagine that at some point, you're just going to chop down a tree and then boom, we're done. It's like, no. And I think I've seen that more so personally when I was a young, that's how I got into history. And that's how I got into the right history. I was maybe about 12 or 11 and I was reading books about, slavery. I was reading Julius Lester's To Be a Slave. I was reading a whole bunch of books and I was like, this is not what I was told in school. I was like, all of this stuff, the slave rebellions, the thousands of slave rebellions that no one ever talked about. I was like, well, this is funny. I've never heard about this. This is also funny. Never heard about this. And it was a consistent issue. And it was kind of like chopping away. And I was like, oh, you guys are lying. You guys are making up your own version of history to support your facts. Solid. But that took some time. That took different pieces of information being dropped in my lap over time for me to come to the ultimate conclusion that y'all are lying.
Correct.
Got it.
Facts. Great point.
That's the thing that's happened with everybody else too. So COVID might be the beginning for some people. It might be the end for others. It may be somewhere in the middle for everyone else.
Unpleasant.
Well, as we bring this topic to a close, we got a couple other things we got to get to before we close the show out. Just wanted to highlight Wayne Terry. What's up, Wayne? He says one issue about hard working everyone isn't actually working hard.
Mm-hmm.
They're just doing things. If you're given a task but don't complete it, you're just wasting your time. I respect work ethic and working smart more. Now I get you. We're talking about something a little bit different, but you're definitely on the money. You're definitely on the money. We're talking more about the mindset of it all. But to be honest, that actually is the thing because a lot of people aren't at work working and they're not maximizing their time. So what could they be doing?
Correct.
But somebody's got a big announcement, y'all. We're going to be celebrating Black wealth, Black achievement, Black excellence. So I want to turn the podium over to Miss Tracy because she's got something to tell us.
Oh, yes. Wanted to make sure that I at least broke it here on the Black Wealth Project because this is what we talk about is Black wealth. And we want to highlight when we all do things as well. It is official. I am now the Vice President and Director of Residential Sales for Mosaic Brokerage. For those people, thanks, y'all. It's been a journey with just COVID and state and all that stuff and paperwork and hashing out details and different stuff. But we are a small budding brokerage that is under a powerhouse of a Black-owned, minority-owned, 50% women-owned, so WMBE development company who is a powerhouse, and they've been in business about 12 years. They're also responsible for those people who do know who are in Philadelphia. I believe it's a $4 million development down at the Naval Yard. Wow. They are now responsible for that entire project, plus PHA's Shardwood development, which is now breaking ground actually this coming Wednesday. So we'll be out and about for that. But as the brokerage is concerned, they are now being able to not only touch billion-dollar developments, but also grandmom's house and dad's investments of multifamilies through our outreach and our partnership. So you need to own your time, own your space, own your property, get into investments, get into property that you can have passive income by owning bricks and being a part of the tax code, Mosaic Brokerage is going to lead that charge for our community to make sure that we have the correct professionals that deal with autonomy, mastery, as well as personal experience to make sure that everybody has their share of resources. So,
Tracy, I got a question to ask you.
thank you.
That's
Well,
amazing.
number one, first and foremost, listen, everybody in the comments, y'all need to give Tracy a big salute, big congratulations. But how does one become a vice president of a brokerage? I mean, I don't know if we know that much about your background. Can you give us a 30-second synopsis?
Okay.
Tracy's a legend, yo.
So, quick synopsis, just super understanding. My background's in engineering, like I just explained. So that is my education background. But I've been in real estate close to now going on 18 years. My family's been in real estate about 40 years. I've touched over 500 transactions, buying, selling, flipping, 1031 exchanges, rehabbing, everything that you can think of, estate sales, divorce sales. Like I've touched all of that stuff. And I've actually helped other people do them too. And also too, we hired 16 new agents over the course of COVID. So now we're in the process of building our team, training everybody and doing all that stuff. So if you're looking to be a part of real estate and you want to get your license, you can call me too. But I have literally built relationships from being a part of this city for the last 30 something years, you know. Just building relationships that I can do business with. And a lot of my code for doing business is village minded first. I want to make sure that people understand that the reason I have these licensures and this experience is to be able to help you do something that if you had the licensure, could you do it and execute it the way you wanted to for yourself? Because grandma needs help, aunties need help, relationships and families who are living in these gentrified areas, they need help and resources to understand what they can do to even keep the properties in their community. Or if you all want to band together and develop, we have a development company too that can help you, show you how to do those things. And some of the greatest parts about Mosaic, if you Google them or look them up, they utilize other people's money. They utilize tax credits. They're super smart when it comes to creating a deal so that it's easy to explain it to someone else to be able to say, oh, you want to do that? Oh, we've already done it. Let me show you how. So it's just dope. I'm here for it.
Well, congratulations, Tracy. I mean, the one thing you said that I think that touched all of us is you said village minded first. Village minded first. Listen, everybody, put village minded first in the chat because that's hard, y'all. I mean, that is the epitome of what we strive to do here at the Black Wealth Project. Remember, every Saturday we are on
Sunday.
Excuse me. I don't know why Saturday stuck in my head. Thank you. Every Sunday we're here. Listen, we're fighting against the algo. So do me a favor, like, comment, share, subscribe to our channels, so we can fight against the algo and have an actually winning chance, right? But one more thing before we go, we have to get back to doing our BOB icon of the week or our Black person icon of the week. And this week, Miss Courtney is sharing that with us. So who you got for us, Courtney?
All right. So I have Philip Payton Jr. He is called the father of Harlem. So Jimmy talked about him on our Black Icon. I think Jimmy talked about him on our Black Icon conversation. And turns out he has a really interesting story. And what I really liked about his story is that he basically took an opportunity and capitalized on it for the benefit of Black people. So essentially two owners of apartment buildings were fighting in New York. And so he, in order to get back at one of them, he said, I'm going to fill this, hey, can I fill this with Black people? Basically to get back at the other property owner. It was petty. But over time, what happened is that he was able to fill Harlem with Black people. And he was basically the father of Harlem, which actually created the Black Renaissance. So again, I just thought it was so interesting that I think a lot of times what I've seen is that people say, well, you can't be doing business, just be down for Black people. Why not? and he did business, and he was down for Black people. And not only did he make sure that people had a place to live in Harlem and actually had a place to commune, but in doing so, he created the most pivotal, I guess, movement in the 20th century called the Harlem Renaissance. He kind of planted the seeds for it. And I just think that is so amazing. And it's not something that we hear about. We don't hear about the amazing stuff that happened all over the United States that was started by Black people. And again, when we talk about the ability to dream and do and kind of live our own life in our own terms, is that we have the blueprint. The blueprint's there, and they had a lot less to work with than we did. Now, sometimes that makes you a little bit more hungry, a lot more hungry, but it's still, I think it's such a testament of what we can do. You just say, you know what, I'm gonna go down for my people, and I'm gonna really be, quote what Tracy said, village minded. Like, we can just do some really amazing things. So,
absolutely,
yeah,
thank you.
His story is awesome. I'll make sure I put the in the comments. I'm going to put the video. We did a little video of him on our By the Hood page. I'll put that within the comments so you guys could take a look at it. But very powerful stuff right there. And he was I think that was what's most impressive about Philip Payton. Definitely a legend and someone that should be talked about in these spaces.
Yeah, Jimmy, I'm also putting an article up there as well. That was featured in the New York Times about a lot of the folks in the Harlem Renaissance. But please share that video that you and Corey did on By the Hood as well. So listen, folks, we appreciate you all being here. We're definitely honored that you're all here. Every Sunday, 7 p.m., the Black Wealth Project is here. We're village minded first, right? Y'all see, this is going to be a recurring theme. Tracy done created a whole, maybe we'll make that a shirt. That might be our first shirt, our first merch.
T-shirt, hoodie.
It's hoodie season, y'all. Absolutely. So listen, again, please help us fight against the algorithm on Facebook, the algorithm on YouTube. They all fight against the smaller Black content creators. So we need help with that. So do us a favor. Again, like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. We'll be out. Again, we appreciate you. We see you next Sunday at 7 p.m. Have a great weekend, y'all. Later.
Bye-bye.
Peace.